Follow your dreams, not your boyfriend's.
You can be happy on your own. You really can. You do not need a man to define you. A man should be an option, not a definition.
Well, a just got laid off. And you feel me? I'm gonna get to be able to do unemployment and all that shit. And they send me home with like an extra 7 bands, and they're gonna pay for this and they're gonna pay for that. But it's a weird ass feeling that I have in my stomach, and I'm getting on here for anybody. Like, I know that this is the Lord, because the Lord is about to build something in my life. But I'm just like, wow, like damn, this shit's a scary feeling. Like, what the f? You know what type of economy we living in? I'm from California, but it costs to live around this. I don't care how much thousands y'all finna give. It ain't nothing like getting up every day, getting to it. Like, nah, I got it. Like, what the f I'm about to do?
I begin with my schadenfreude disclaimer. I don't take pleasure in seeing young ladies crash out, but in this environment, young ladies are crashing out. And not only are they crashing out, but we're seeing more and more of it on a daily basis. It's unavoidable. You just can't avoid it.
I'm turning 40 this year, and everything is just hitting me right now. It's like not where I wanted to be. I haven't succeeded at anything. I haven't even tried. Like, I don't even know anymore. I don't know how to do anything. I don't know how to cope with anything. And
you as a young woman need to be so intertwined and so involved in yourself, in your own life, and creating your own beautiful reality that you don't have time to be worried about chasing a man.
And like, I don't know how to, I did this whole growing thing wrong. Like I'm supposed to be an adult. I'm supposed to be able to handle these things, and I can't handle anything. And I literally am just realizing, like, it's been 40 years of this, and like, it's 40 years of just being confused and not knowing, and like figuring things out slower, and like not like I haven't built anything. I have nothing like to show for this time. I just don't know what I'm doing here, and I'm lost. I'm afraid.
I think these kinds of videos are extremely sad for several reasons, but the main reason why they're so sad is because when they were in their younger years, their whole environment told them, hey girl, you don't need no man, and if you get a man, he needs to be a high earner, and until that high earner comes and essentially rescues you from all of the difficulties of life, you should live your best life. Well, your best life, or should I say the rest of your life, comes. And when it comes during a difficult economic situation, you know what you could use? A devoted husband, a guy who's been there with you from your mid-20s onward. But when you tell young ladies that they don't need a man, then they get to their 30s and 40s and the men aren't there. But the crashouts are.
The guys do not want to put in the effort that we want on our end to make dating the way it needs to be. They're not into, monogamy as much as maybe we would be. So maybe they don't want to take that time to really put that effort into a long-term relationship.
Yeah. I believe that the men in New Orleans want to be treated like the females. And, I'm looking for a real man because I'm used to how my dad, was with my mom. Back in the day, the man provides everything. He does this, he does that. In this day, they want to go 50-50. They want, it's just, they want to be treated like females.
Grow up in yourself. Grow up with your energy. Become a person that is unrecognizable. Become a person that person can never, ever touch again.
I got laid off. My grandma, God rest her soul, she was the first person I called. Before I called my mom, I was so scared. I was like, I don't want to call my mom, because I had just moved into a $4,000 a month apartment. Signed a lease for a high rise. I was not even a month into living there. I moved in on New Year's Eve, and I got laid off on January 20th. Wow.
Of course, it's not fair to say that all of the young ladies are looking for a lifestyle, but one commonality that you can't help but notice is that in many of these videos, these are young ladies trying to live an elevated lifestyle, and they have to call on not a man, but Jesus to come in and save them.
A month into living there, I moved in on New Year's Eve, and I got laid off on January 20th. Wow. And I called my grandma, and I told her the situation. She was just like, you're too hard-headed. And I was like, what? She's like, you can't see when God giving you a sign. She had told me, she was like, you just need to follow God. Like, you need to walk in the path that he's led for you. Like,
take this as a sign. And I remember, like, I was looking out and my apartment stared directly at the Statue of Liberty. And I'm looking out and I literally dropped to my knees. I said, God, I'm not religious. When I tell you I spent years of my teenage years being an atheist. And I said, God, if this is a sign, you need to show me something, like, right now. Maybe like 15 minutes later, it starts raining, like, so hard. Middle of January rain. I'm like, this is weird. I took it as a sign. I literally just searched churches near me. And I walk in and I'm telling the pastor, I'm like, Pastor B, like, yo, like, I don't know what's going on. And he's like, welcome to Epiphany, girl. Wait. That was January 20th. My base salary at Google at that time was like $140,000. By February 15th, I had signed $140,000 worth of contracts.
Wow.
I was like, this is insane.
If that's not a sign, I don't know what is.
Of course, she says, if that's not a sign, I don't know what is. But when you sign a lease for an apartment for $4,000 a month, that $140,000, and I imagine there are a lot of fees that go along with it, that's enough for maybe a year or so, which is congratulations to her. But she believes that the rain and going to the church was what she needed to get out of her difficult situation, when it could have just been being with a guy that cares about her and pooling their resources together, even if he's not a super high breadwinner. But maybe she got off easy. But the truth of the matter is, in the aggregate, there aren't going to be enough young ladies that are going to get that magic rainfall, that magic walk into the church, and that magic talk with the pastor that's going to save them economically from the reality of today.
I know that if something happened and then I was single tomorrow, I would be able to create such a beautiful life for myself. Like,
my grandma, she asked me today, she was like, you don't have any friends or a boyfriend, anybody to talk to? Like, where do you go when you're not home? And I was like, I buy myself food and I just sit on a park bench and I draw. That's what I do. Anytime I go outside, that's all I do if I don't go to school.
I don't want to be alive anymore. Being alive is expensive, and I feel like, what is the point of being alive if I can't afford to live?
I don't have anybody to talk to. I don't even know why I pay my phone bill, because nobody calls or texts me. Only person I talk to is my therapist. That's it. Nobody else talks to me.
I got the red notice on my door yesterday. It has really brought forward this, I don't know, this like sense of heaviness, this breakdown that I've been having all week. I go to 2 out of my 3 jobs today. I work overnight, and then tomorrow morning I'll come home, get a couple hours of sleep. I'll go to one of my jobs. Once I clock out of that job, I'll be going straight to another overnight shift.
I always hate when people when you express yourself and then people are like, oh, just focus on yourself, love you. And it's like, people need people. And if you never have anybody and you never have, that's depressing and it makes you feel really bad.
I hardly want to go because it's so clear that I can't obviously cover my fucking necessities, and I just... In one of the poorest states in the U.S., the cost of living somehow is unsustainable, working 3 jobs.
Prioritizing yourself, setting boundaries, learning to say no, taking care of your own needs and filling your cup before you fill anybody else's.
I am considered a part-timer that's put on schedule due to understaffing. I'm being worked to death. I know everybody is one missed paycheck from being homeless.
I think I have a thing for toxic energy. So I think there's still some more healing that I need to do, because when I look back on all of these energies, it's a shame I gave them so much time and there were sweet energies that I didn't. Yeah. And so now I see those sweet energies getting married and starting families. I'm just like, dang, that probably could have been me if I recognized the security in those individuals at the time.
I work 3 jobs and I still can't cover my necessities. I can't bring that to my property manager and say, it's the system that's fucking me up. Sorry, I work 3 jobs. I literally can't. I don't know, man. I'm just gonna finish getting dressed and get ready for work.
now I see those sweet energies getting married and starting families. I'm just like, dang, that probably could have been me if I recognized the security in those individuals at the time. And like now I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely feeling that now. I'm aware that there's something going on. There's something wrong.
What do you think it is that attracts you to like toxic energy?
I think they just seem really exciting at first. The chemistry is incredible. And they don't even always be fine. It's not even that like they're sexy or something. I mean, well, they're sexy, but they don't be the finest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's just an energy. Sometimes it's convenience, what we talk about. A lot of the sweeter energies that I felt like weren't for me. I could see myself falling asleep a little bit on the phone. So I don't know if that's like, if boring is good or not. Like, I'm trying to figure out what that means. Like,
it's the thrill.
Yeah.
It's the thrill of it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite lines from Star Wars is when Yoda is on Dagobah, he's scolding Luke. He says to him, "Bokinda, soriru to kofun, Jedi wa kono koto o motomete oran."
Adventure. Excitement.
Also said, "Maoshin, tsuji, Juedi wushu, buchuecho chushe donshi."
A Jedi craves not these things.
I think these women are just jealous seeing their these Western guys that having a good life. Happy. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
Then they can give that to their own men. Yeah. Isn't it?
You know how to be wise.
Is it our fault?
It's not our fault. They even say that we steal their men. No, we don't steal your men. Do your men come in here?
Yeah.
So
they even said that we steal their men. Oy.
Yeah.
We didn't put potion in their food or anything. They're just in love with our natural beauty.
It's very interesting living in the times we are living in, because for so long, women of the West have been told their most valuable asset is their independence. And they've focused on trying to do everything themselves and essentially make the best of their lives and hold out for the guy that can essentially retire them from that lifestyle and reject the lifestyle of the man that's the commoner, the guy that's making somewhere near the average or maybe even a little bit above average. Maybe he's making way above average, but he's not super tall, or whatever the case may be. He's not the perfect picture of the man that she wanted. But as times have gotten tougher, two things have happened. One, guys have backed off. And as guys backed off, you start to see young ladies who in previous generations would have been married are now trying to carry the load of several jobs or praying to God to send them contracts or just a means by which they can find a way out or even continue to live that lifestyle that they can brag about on Instagram. And of course, the other thing that's happened is that young ladies in other countries see opportunity. Guys that want someone to love on, guys that want a woman that's going to build a family with them, and young ladies that are very happy to take a guy that's making average or a little bit above average and say, hey, I can do something with this guy. When we heard Yoda say, adventure, excitement, a Jedi craves not these things, he's essentially saying you should want to have a life that's stable and maybe even sometimes boring, because that's the best way that you can build yourself up into the person that you need to be, instead of seeking out excitement and pleasure and things that make you, well, OD on oxytocin, if you will. Because as we heard at the very end, a young lady who essentially had her fill of oxytocin is now looking back and saying, you know what? I really could have used one of those nice guys. And as for the other young ladies that don't have a nice guy to look back for, or even a nice guy that's walking up to them trying to have a relationship with them, it's just the beginning of their crash outs and a new crash out season. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I'll catch you next video. Take care, guys.